We're back at home, back with some changes, ready for preseason game number 2. Drew, Eric's at a new house. Congrats, Eric. New setup for this year. Maybe the same old Browns, same old winning Browns as we keep going through the preseason here. Eric, let's go to you first here. Any updates on the QB depth chart? Any disagreements with how Kevin Stefanski?
No, you're not going to him first. Not today. Not today. You're not. Not today. There is not one person that wants to hear pump the brakes. Send it over here. We're going to talk about the Browns QB depth chart, and we're going to hit him with this first. I got the granddad's watch on for tonight. I'm going to raise it in the air for it. I should have put 2 of them on. He was exceptional. He was better than even I thought he could be with a deck. I'm not going to say stacked against him, but every other rookie quarterback that played preseason week 1 had been sort of brought along for that exact purpose. People like Eric's boy Jackson Dart and Cam Ward, they've had everything built exactly for them to be able to play well. And the biggest rookie quarterback star outshined all of them. 14 for 23, 138 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. He added 19 yards on the ground as he scrambled for a pair of first downs. He stood in the depths of his own end zone and threaded a needle on 3rd down. Both the touchdown plays were exceptional, able to escape some pressure and extend the play just long enough to get to his second, or in the case of the second touchdown, to his 3rd read. Threw the ball where it had to be. Just an exceptional night. He led 3 touchdown drives in 3 quarters. It was better than anyone could have expected. And you don't have to sit here and listen to pump the brakes. It's only 1 game, not today. The whole season's going to be filled with pump the brakes. Not this year, not this time, not today. But in the case of this podcast, we're not going to sit here and listen to people raining on the parade. Put the watches up. He's earned it. It was an exceptional game, and he has earned the right to be the Browns' number 2 quarterback. I understand the depth chart does not say that right now. I understand the depth chart hasn't changed. I suspect it hasn't changed because Kevin doesn't want to answer those exact questions. But the reality of the situation is Joe Flacco can, will, and should start week 1, and the next quarterback to start a game for the Cleveland Browns in 2025 should be the second best guy on the roster, who will eventually become the best guy on the roster and make it so this team doesn't have to draft a quarterback 1st overall or 2nd overall, wherever they end up picking. He's going to show everybody the mistakes of the draft, having everybody pass on this guy for inferior talents, and I am here for it. And we should all be celebrating from what we saw week 1. It's okay to be excited about a quarterback that has trained his whole life for this spotlight. It's not too bright for him. He's not too immature. He knows how to handle this, and he's only going to shine brighter as he gets more opportunities. Wrists up.
Drew was demanding that he go first while the Browns were playing this weekend. No surprises there. Eric, out of Browns camp, we heard today not too much has changed with the depth chart. What should we expect with this second preseason game?
While I appreciate all the false narratives thrown my way, and I appreciate a good story, I do actually kind of have to agree with Drew. I'm not going to go to the nth degree the way he is, but I'm also not saying, pump the brakes. I'm going somewhere in the middle. It was a great performance. He did a great job. He did basically what he was asked to do. I like to see more of it. Will the coaches say the same thing? I don't know. I'm guessing Dylan Gabriel's going to get his opportunity this week. Does Dylan Gabriel... is he afforded that opportunity? I don't think so. From what I saw in person, from what I've heard from multiple beat reporters and all kinds of, Cleveland Browns media, they do not like what they are seeing. So they did draft him in the 3rd round. I guess he's afforded that luxury just because of where he was drafted. But I would totally be fine with Shedeur being the second quarterback right now. Maybe that's a bit early, but I could see him progressing. I mean, you saw what he did in one game as opposed to, barely getting any reps in team 11 on 11 or even any, and some on 7 on 7. So, um, yeah, I mean, like Drew said, I don't think, changing one guy up or down is going to be a huge talking point by the media after every practice, and I don't think Stefanski wants to hear of it, and I don't blame him. But I would really prefer to see Pickett move this week. Would kind of free things up for the two rookies, but again, it takes two to tango, and I'd be surprised if there are any takers for Kenny Pickett at this point. So, I think you have five, even if you want to count six quarterbacks on the roster. But I'd be fine with getting rid of the guy that they actually can get rid of, Tyler Huntley, and hopefully get rid of Kenny Pickett. But for now, I'd still have Pickett probably third, I guess, ahead of Dylan Gabriel, just from what I have seen and heard. But I would like to see what he does against the Eagles. I don't care if it's a second or third or fourth string backups, whoever he's going against. I want to see how he compares to Shedeur Sanders. Again, I've seen him a lot of retreating, a lot of passes being batted, a lot of not showing a lot of comfortability in the pocket. Shedeur showed a lot of promise in the pocket. There was a couple opportunities where he could have stepped up, didn't do that. That'll come in time. For Dylan Gabriel, you can't really grow legally. So it is what it is, and you kind of have to work with the tools you're given. We can move the pocket so often, but defenses are going to kind of see that coming and kind of adjust their defenses accordingly. Whereas Shedeur kind of has a lot more of the tools that can kind of, we can modify our offense to try to work off their game plan. So, yeah. Long story short, Joe Flacco better be the day one starter. Hopefully he plays well in those first 6 games. If things don't go well, then I would turn the table over to Shedeur.
Oh, it seems like we're pretty far away from Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett being the Browns' starting quarterback. But we'll see what kind of trade bait he brings back to the Browns. Let's move on. So yes, Shedeur had a great first game. I think everyone has been talking about Shedeur. The other quarterback, if you look at the preseason stats, the other top quarterback that you'll see is Tanner McKee of the Eagles. Had a great first game. Drew, what will this game mean for the Eagles? I think we want to see the Browns play against a more competitive foe here. But what are your expectations for this weekend?
Yeah, Tanner McKee, it was sort of funny. They had a little interview for him to like guess his Madden rating, and I forget what he guessed, but it was something like 61 or something terrible. And he's like, "Okay, bet." And he showed him. He showed Chad Johnson and the rest of the Madden crew that he could be a pretty good quarterback. He's the reason that the Eagles were perfectly happy to move on from Kenny Pickett. Now, the Eagles got a fifth-round pick for the luxury of doing so, something that I'm sure the Browns would probably take right now based on what they've seen from Shedeur Sanders at this point. But Tanner played really good, and Eagles reporters and fans, from what I can tell, are pretty high on him. And when what you saw now against a admittedly not a very good defense in the Cincinnati Bengals, but still, you play the people you're matched up against, and yeah, those guys were open, but he still read it, and he hit every one of those throws. So, I'm not here to talk about Eagles backup quarterbacks very much, but assuming I get to see Shedeur, against Tanner McKee, I think that's going to be, I'll say, a bit of a fun sort of preseason matchup. I think there's some other very interesting matchups as well. I think, we've got something on this in a little bit, but unfortunately, it looks like the Eagles all-pro guard Landon Dickerson is going to be out. I was really looking forward to seeing Mason Graham against Landon Dickerson. I would have liked to have seen that. The Panthers really double teamed Mason for a lot of that game, not all of it. But the Eagles would not have done that. They would have let those two go at it. That would have been a fun matchup. What can you do? But yeah, this should be certainly a harder opponent. The Eagles will play their starters for probably a little longer. Most teams do in the second preseason game. But I'm also really looking forward to hearing the reports from the joint practices. I know there was some joint practices with the Eagles. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before that, where there was word that Deshaun Watson did not look very good in those practices, and that ended up being a bit of a foreshadowing for what would become of the next season. Again, it doesn't matter, 2023 or 2024. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the outcome is this time. The round 2 or round 3, whatever we're on for these joint practices. Definitely want to see how my guy looks as well. If we can throw up some more wrists and watches and stuff, I might have to get a watch for my right hand if he keeps going the way he's going.
So injury problems with the Eagles, Eric. I don't know what kind of look the Eagles are going to give us in the actual preseason game. What are your thoughts on this next preseason game?
Yeah, I mean, the 2 days that they're going to be running of joint practices, I think that's where you're going to see the ones versus ones. And the Eagles do have a tremendous amount of depth, so they're still going to give us a good look in the preseason game. But I would expect intensity to be dialed back a fair amount from Wednesday and Thursday. I would expect to see kind of how it was last game, where Carson Schlesinger, Mason Graham played a handful of plays. I think Carson Schlesinger had 6 tackles on 13 plays, which is exceptional. Um, and Mason Graham, he made some plays up front, but nothing that stood out. But yes, playing the young guys, even though they're high draft picks and key positions, I think is what we're going to see. It's kind of be backups, third string guys, I think, the rest of the way. I would like to see Dillon Gabriel start just to see what he can do. If he plays poorly, I would probably take him after 1 quarter, put in Shedeur, see what he does, quarters 2 and 3, and then Huntley or Pickett, depending on Pickett's health. But yeah, I'm curious to see what happens on Wednesday and Thursday. I know there's the typical fight, fisticuffs that, coaches have to break it up. There's a lot of jawing back and forth between offense and defense. I'm sure there'll probably be some speeding references thrown at Myles Garrett's and even Shedeur Sanders' way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that'll be fun and entertaining, and I would rather do it to a team with the Eagles than probably. I know they only had 1 day against the Panthers, but a team like the Panthers, that's 2 days, so it'll be a good test. I think they're going to probably be outclassed a little bit, but I don't think they're going to be overwhelmed. I mean, again, this is a very, very low bar, but I recall many times in the 2000s seeing the preseason game and, being down 21-0 and then winning 24-21 and being excited about it. Well, these aren't those teams. I'm not saying they're great, but I'm saying we can kind of hold our own to, I think, some of the least mediocre teams. We'll see what happens when we play the defending champions, but I think they're better than a lot of people give them credit for. So I know that's not a super positive endorsement, but that's what we're going to be getting nowadays. So should be fun, should be interesting. I can't wait to hear all about it.
You can ask Rob Van Dam. You got to watch your speed in the state of Ohio. We're adding to that list. Glad Myles is doing okay, but strange that we just keep hearing this news out of Browns camp. But certainly us growing up in Ohio, not too big of a surprise. Let's go Browns. Let's see what happens. I would love to see Dillon Gabriel as well this weekend. Sort of make maybe it'll be a little bit more cloudy as far as what that depth chart should be. But
crystal clear.
Go Browns.
Go Browns.
We'll
Go Browns.
soon.